Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So recently, Kanye West and Candace Owens wore t-shirts with the label White Lives Matter on the back of them. And they wore these t-shirts during Paris Fashion Week. And this has created a lot of controversy. A lot of people are talking about this. And I want to just take time to share my thoughts about this particular situation. First of all, one has to understand why the slogan Black Lives Matter was even created in order to have full context to this situation. So we live in a country where Black lives are completely devalued. We have the problem of police brutality, where Black people are racially profiled and targeted by police, and Black people are disproportionately brutalized and killed by the police. And most of the time, no charges are even filed against police officers for taking Black lives. And in the very few occasions where charges are actually filed against police officers, often they are found not guilty. Often there is a bias in favor of the police, and Black lives are completely devalued. So that is the reason why we have the slogan Black Lives Matter. The slogan is bigger than any organization. It's bigger than the actual organization Black Lives Matter. It goes beyond that. It's about bringing attention to the very real problem of police brutality and racial violence against Black people. The issue, deals with vigilante action against Black people. For instance, you have the killing of Trayvon Martin, a young brother who was walking home from the store, and he begins to be harassed and attacked by George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman shot that young brother through the heart, and George Zimmerman was found not guilty after killing that brother. He literally got away with murdering that brother. We have the case of Eric Garner, a Black man who was selling loose cigarettes in New York, and the police choked that brother to death, and it was captured on camera, and no charges have been brought against those police officers. You had a situation here in Baltimore where Freddie Gray was thrown into a paddy wagon and his neck was shattered. Medical examiners described his neck as feeling like a bag of loose rocks. None of those officers were convicted of killing the brother Freddie Gray. And you have all these other countless examples of Black people killed by the police, and there is no justice for them. You have the situation involving Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old Black boy who was playing with a toy gun in a park. The police arrived on the scene, and within seconds, they shot and killed that young brother. A 12-year-old Black boy, killed, and no justice has been rendered for that brother. You had a situation involving Bolton John, a brother in his own house, and a police officer goes into his house and shoots and kills him. So you have all these examples of police brutality, and that is why people have been using the slogan Black Lives Matter. They are not saying that other lives do not matter. They are saying that our lives do matter in a world where our lives have been completely disregarded by this society. And this issue of Black Lives Matter is actually bigger than just police brutality and racialized violence, but I won't go into that right now. But you get the point. No one has said that white lives don't matter. In fact, this society constantly reminds us that white lives matter more than any other life in this country. So there's no need for anyone to be wearing any kind of t-shirt talking about white lives matter. There's no need for such a shirt because the society and its institutions are structured around valuing and protecting white lives, even at the expense of Black lives. So there's a false equivalency there. And to put forth such a slogan, to wear such items, is showing a complete disregard for Black lives and the movement to protect Black lives. It is making mockery of the movement. It is a distraction from the movement. It is a complete deflection. And it's a poor attempt to try to change the conversation away from the very real issue of police brutality. And it's just sad and sick. We see this situation, with the police, coming up with the slogan, Blue Lives Matter, when this society does everything that it can to protect police from charges of murder, protect police in all kinds of ways. And that's one of the reasons why you even have to have a slogans, because, people often say that there's a few bad apples, but there's a system in place that defends these police. When these police brutalize Black people, it's the police unions that rally around these police. It is, police officers and white people in general who raise funds for these people that murder Black people. So there is no need for a White Lives Matter slogan or a Blue Lives Matter slogan. It is an affront. It is an insult to Black people for people to wear that kind of stuff and to be using that particular slogan. They are completely disregarding the very real problem of police brutality. And in fact, they are trivializing it and mocking it. And that's exactly what Candace Owens and Kanye West are doing. And basically, this is the situation that Brother Malcolm X talked about years ago when he talked about the house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro, Malcolm X told us, identified so much with his master that when his master was sick, he would say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick." We sick. That's the mentality of the house Negro. And that's the mentality of somebody like a Kanye West. And it is sickening, it is repulsive that this man would actually use the suffering of Black people, trivialize the suffering of Black people in order to bring attention to himself, in order to sell products, in order to promote himself and to promote his brand and his company. That is a disgrace. That is a shame. And that is the very definition of selling out. But yet this man wants to pretend like he's some kind of victim when it comes to his deal with Adidas and with Gap. And he has some of you foolish Negroes rallying behind him as if he's some kind of victim of discrimination. But yet and still, this man has taken so many opportunities to throw Black people under the bus. He threw Black people under the bus a while ago when he had a clothing line celebrating the Confederacy, a Confederacy that fought to protect its right to enslave Black people. So this is nothing new for Kanye West. This man has made ridiculous comments about how slavery sounds like a choice to him. This man made comments about Harriet Tubman not freeing the slaves. And this man is an ignorant man. Despite his wealth, despite his talent, he is a buffoon. Straight up. This man was talking about how he never read a book. He did an interview where he was talking about how he never read a book, and no one should be surprised based on his antics and based on the ridiculous and foolish things that he says. So nobody, no Black person in their right mind should be defending this guy. Defending him in his whole divorce situation. Defending him with these deals, with these billionaire deals that have nothing to do with Black people. Defending him in those situations. As far as I'm concerned, fuck Kanye West and everything that he represents. I think that it's going to be time for Black people to basically cancel this guy. I mean, how many opportunities can this guy have to disrespect the very community that made him? The world wouldn't even know of a Kanye West if it wasn't Black people who bought his albums. If it wasn't Black people that supported him to begin with, people like Jay-Z and people like what's his name, Dame Dash, and all these other black people that helped prop up his career. Black people, even like some rap artists before he got all the way on, people like a Mos Def and Talib Kweli and Common, they gave him support when he was just emerging as an artist. And this is how he returns the favor to the black community, by throwing the black community under the bus in order to sell products, in order to promote himself. He is the very definition of a sellout, and he doesn't deserve our support anymore. And I really do believe that it's time to boycott him and to cancel him, because he's a disgrace to the black race. He is he's a complete sellout. I'm going to try not to use other more colorful type of language describing him. And we already know about Candace Owens and her record. I've done countless videos on my I Declare War channel about her antics, about her foolishness, about her being a fraud and a joke and a clown and a buffoon and a sellout and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, those are my thoughts about that situation. And, some people had this idea that any publicity is good publicity. Yes, it's bringing attention to his products and stuff like that by even talking about this, but we need to boycott him. Like, people are running around here wearing his shoes and stuff like that, wearing his goofy looking ass shoes and trash bag, end of the world type of clothes, because he's a marketing genius. So he got people convinced that stuff is hot. It's time for people to stop buying this clown's products. He is literally slapping black people in the face by selling these kind of products, by selling a t-shirt and wearing a t-shirt that says White Lives Matter. That's outrageous. That is completely disrespectful to all the black people who have died at the hands of these stinking pig police. So those are my thoughts. Tell me what y'all think. Please rate, comment, subscribe, like the video, share the video, and hit that notification bell so that you'll know when I post new content on here. Peace and blessings. Have a great day.